As we all know, OSU game players love PP, performance points. When OSU players are going to be FC in maps, their overall PP is going to go up. If they're FC in a Sotarks map, their PPRL is going to go up. But OSU players just love PP, performance points, whatever it is, goofy ass acronym. But in this video, I want to talk about the new PP rework. It's kind of new, but it's basically confirmed to be released within the next couple, I don't know, they didn't really specify what duration. And I know this was confirmed like 10 days ago, so I'm kind of late on this, right? But I want to talk about it, give my thoughts on it. What does it do? Because there's probably a small subsection. I'm sure most of you guys already have heard of it, but I'm going to explain to the people that don't really know what the freak it is and just get you all up to speed on it. But basically, what this PP rework is, it was made by this post by Embrayo, the OSU PP developer, and he said upcoming PP and SR changes. And I'm not going to read this whole post to you guys because it's pretty long, but I condensed it within my own brain, my genius IQ brain, and I'm going to condense it for you guys and just tell you my understanding of this rework. So basically, the first change that he introduces is the combo scaling removal. So this is a PP rework that combines a lot of the things that they've been developing in the background, but now they're developing it into an overall PP work with the combo scaling removal and also speed nerfs, basically. But basically, the first change here is the combo scaling removal, where essentially in OSU game, there's a problem where, let's say you FC the first half of the map, but then you miss on some random thing, and then you FC the rest of the map. The map only awards you about 60% of the total PP-ish, 60-70%. But what this essentially does is that it's kind of stupid, right? You're going to be FC in a map, you only messed up in the middle, but you get a reward only 60-70%. So this removal basically makes it so that you actually get rewarded more. So maybe instead of 60-70, you get rewarded 90% in case that happens. So let's say you're playing Save Me, you FC the first half, the first 2,000 combo, you miss on the middle, maybe your mom calls you, and then you have to pause on the map, and then you have to miss, and then you FC the rest of it, and you're pissed off because you get a 300 PP play on it when you should have got like a 500 on Save Me. Well, essentially, now that maybe it's going to be like 450 instead. So this combo scaling removal is pretty nice. Overall, it is a very good rework because a lot of people have these moments where they just shit miss in the middle, FC literally everything else, and then they get no PP for it. But this is going to reflect on a much higher performance in OSU game players, and they're going to be FC in the map, but then they miss in the middle, but then they're just FC everything else. Like these type of players, it happens to everyone. They're going to get a lot of PP. So the people that like to choke maps are going to get a lot of PP result of it. I know that if you choke in the ending, then you actually get nerfed, which is a little weird. But also the opposite, where if you choke in the beginning of the map but then you reverse choke it, your play on this is actually going to get buffed as well. So this is a pretty nice rework. I like the combo scaling removal. The second thing is the fixes to the rhythm calculation. So I'm not super in depth on what this actually means here, but from my understanding of it, there's some maps that are farmed where essentially they give so much PP, even though rhythm wise they're pretty easy. All you got to do is just tap around the place and then you do triples, just triple, and it's not even that hard, like rhythmically. And maps on the other side that are actually super fucking hard rhythmically, maybe Sputnik or the Caplets, the Ekro God Mode style maps. These maps don't reward you that much PP, even though rhythmic wise they are just absolute demon mode. While maps that you just do triplets, easy rhythms, these maps give you so much PP. And this also happens for finger control maps like Trio Cup and Love Bomb, the types of maps that I like to play. These maps get nerfed as a result because those maps are overweighted, while the more niche maps, the more complex rhythms like Decapolis get buffed, which I think is a good thing. But I'm kind of sad by it because this nerfs my skill sets, right? I'm kind of just like, okay, whatever. I do think my skill set's a little overweighted, but it's still not easy to do, in my opinion. Maybe the Wu team makes it easy for a lot of people, but I don't got those genetics to be tapping like an absolute demon god mode, man. I gotta actually work hard for it. Unlike some of the 2-year-old OSU players that just come out the womb and are hitting 1,000 PP plays 10 hours in. Now, I'm not like these people, and I don't really super like this change, but I understand where they're coming from. And the third change seems to be that they're essentially going to be nerfing flow aim speed maps, so sidetrack day. So how it used to be where you're rewarded PP with speed and flow aim is that speed and flow aim are actually multiplicative on each other, so they're exponential on each other. So if we were to assign them a value of speed equals 8 and then flow aim spacing equals 8. 8 times 8 is 64, right? But if it was 4 times 4, it's a little less. Like, in terms of the spacing, if it's a lot lesser, but the speed's also a lot lesser, the PP is not really giving that much. But if it's really fast and also super flow aimy, then the PP value you get from that is just a lot higher, which is why you see maps like Glory Days and Sidetrack Day. These guys are able to print 1Ks on them, even though they're not really that hard for the late game players. They just have to get the raw speed in, and then the flow aim is something that you learn in 5 digits. It's really not that hard to do, right? But they essentially essentially changed it so that instead of it being multiplicative on each other, those factors are actually additive on each other. So you don't get exponential PP outputs from playing Glory Days. I don't know how much Glory Days is going to be worth now, maybe 900 instead, but these maps get hella nerfed, and people like Akali Blat are just getting absolutely destroyed with this. All the flow aim speed players, maybe some D rankers are going to be loving this change, but I know that a lot of speed players that were abusing the flow aim plus speed tactics, these guys are getting absolutely wrecked by this change, and essentially speed nerf. It doesn't really nerf raw speed, where it's just low spacing, high speed. These maps don't get nerfed. I don't think they get changed at all, but the maps that are very flowy and also very fast, those maps get nerfed pretty hard from this change. And then the fourth change, it seems like, is there's a change in slider accuracy and laser. I don't really super know about this change. It doesn't really affect me that much because I don't really play laser, or I don't really play the game anymore. But basically, laser has a slider head accuracy compared to Osu game, where if you're going to be playing Osu, you can fuck up the slider head. Like, you could tap 5 seconds later and you'll still get a 300 on it. In Score V2, you have to actually time the laser hits on the slider hits, but on laser, it actually does it like that. It seems like that the accuracy PP is actually going to include this slider head PP thing. So I suppose you got to be more accurate with your slider heads and laser if you play that. But that's pretty much all this PP work is. I would say in overall, as a summary, I should have said this earlier, is that combo scaling removal, speed flow aim nerf, and triplet farm nerf, finger control nerf. And a lot of the tapping players of the Wu teams, these guys are not going to be liking these nerfs. I know for sure I'm not the biggest fan of this, but the combo scaling removal, I like a lot personally. The other nerfs, I understand it's pretty overweighted. Glory Days, Trio Cup, Love Bomb, they're pretty farm maps, but still it hurts regardless. And that's all I wanted to say about this PP work. I think it's pretty cool, and they're actually going to be releasing it for sure now, and it's not actually some hearsay where maybe it's going to be implemented or not, maybe not, but this is actually going to be implemented into the future. I don't know when, but that's going to be pretty cool. And all the aim players here who can't tap for shit, they're going to be loving this because this is essentially an indirect buff for the aim players. The aim maps don't get changed that much from my experience. But I also want to talk about this other PP work. I'm going to call it the Xue Hua PP Rework, because the Xue Hua PP work, the PP stands for Piao Piao, where it seems like this person posted the new Jing Chong Wing Wong rework with all this Chinese stuff. And I don't know what this rework is. I saw it on the Osu game subreddit and I took a look at it, and some maps where you choke on it, but you got a pretty good play on it. So for example, I have a pretty decent play on the newer Freedom Dive, and that map gets buffed from 140 PP to 465 for some reason, even though it's 20 misses. I don't know what this rework is, but it just buffs a lot of things. I don't know. Personally, I would be pretty happy if this rework came out, because this buffs me a lot. But this rework, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I don't know what the fuck it is. Some people that are 5-digit aim guys and are getting A ranks on Sunglow, these guys are getting absolute buffs on these Sunglow maps. I don't know what it is. Maybe it makes it so that the misses don't matter that much if you're going to be playing super high star rating. I like this rework, the Xue Hua PP rework. It just buffs me, right? And I think the Chinese people are cooking with this rework. I don't know if the Chinese people made it. I tried to do some Google translating of this, and Google Translate doesn't really give an output, but I'll give you guys a romanized version where it seems like it says, I can't speak Chinese by the way, but says, I don't know how the fuck to say Chinese. All I know about Chinese is orange chicken, kung pao chicken, but that's pretty much all I want to say in this video. Let's talk about the PP rework really quick, because the PP rework situation is crazy. But yeah, I'll see you guys.